Okay, so Perek Beis begins B'tachlis Habriya, discussing what the purpose of creation is, and the Ramchal tells us, sums it up very succinctly, that the purpose of creation, why did Hashem make anything ever? Because Hashem himself is all good and completely tov, and he wanted to share that good with another entity. He wanted to be able to share good with something else, and in order for there to be for Hashem to be able to share, so to speak, so there had to be an entity, and Hashem created this in order for this entity, in which me and you, in order for Hashem to be able to be mative, in order to bestow his good. And he told us also that because the ultimate good, the best possible good that exists, is Hashem himself, so the best good that we can possibly get by getting good from Hashem is a connection to Hashem himself and to be one with him. So let's just finish up. Let's just read the last two lines from Aleph, from Perek Beis, Seif Aleph, and then we're going to continue into Beis. So it comes out that we know that the kavana of Hashem in the creation that he made, the point of Hashem, why did Hashem create the world? In order to make a being that will be able to take part in Hashem's goodness and to share that with Hashem to the extent that it's possible. Okay, Beis. Now I was going to explain, why didn't Hashem just make us and give us good? Just make me and then give me everything you want to give me, and then you problem solved. So Beis. So now I was going to explain why we have to earn this good, and it's different from the way that the Das Tfunos, that Ramchal writes it in Das Tfunos. We'll see in a second. However, Hashem was gozer shelios hatov shalem roi sheyiyah hanene bo ba'al hatovahu. So there's a lot to unpack in this one line. I'm not going to take a lot of time on it, but what he's saying is as follows: that there's always, like we said last time, there's always questions that you can ask. He's going to explain to us now that Hashem wanted for us to be the owners of that good, that we own it, that it's ours. So those of you who've learned Das Tfunos in Shana Bet with me or whatever, or however, so you'll know that the Das Tfunos writes very clearly and elaborates on this point of the reason that we have to struggle to earn what we're getting over here is because it shouldn't be nahama de chisufa. It shouldn't be something that we are like ashamed to receive when we get our reward. When we're going to go up there, we're going to demand our reward. It's going to be owed to us, and it's not going to be. We're not going to feel shame. And the reason being that when you earn something, you feel better about it, and there's no shame, as opposed to when you get a gift, and that aspect of shame detracts from the goodness of the gift. And therefore, if Hashem wants to give us the best possible good, so then that good has to be earned and not just bestowed, not just given to us, right? That's the idea in the Sefer Das Tfunos. And you can always ask that question, right? But if God is God, so can't he give me the good and make it be as if I've earned it, right? You could always do that. He could do anything, right? So can't he do that? And the answer is, of course he could. And like we always say, there's always a point at which the mashal stops, like that, and that's what he's saying over here also, like Gazra Chachmaso, it's the same thing. Hashem could do whatever he wanted. If he wanted to make us the owners of this good, by magic or, whatever, by a miracle, he could do that if he wanted to. But the point is, Gazra Chachmaso, there's certain things that we're not going to be able to understand. And, there's certain aspects that are sort of built into the fabric of the Bria that those are the things that are Gazra Chachmaso that, we can ask the question, why didn't you do it a different way? But these are not the things that we're going to get the answers for. So that's what he's saying over here. Gazra Chachmaso, Shelios Hatov Shalem, in order for the good to be the best possible good, it could be Roi Shia Nena Bo Baal Hatovahu. So it needs to be that the person who's receiving the good is the owner of the good. What does that mean? Perush, Mishi Yikne Hatov Ba'atzmo, Velo Mishi Islavelo Hatov Derech Mikre. Meaning that the good that the person gets should be good that is like inherent to the person, a part of the person and not just something that is mislavelo, that is like added onto him derech mikre. It doesn't mean mikre like coincidence, but just mean like, as a side aspect, right? In other words, it's gonna, if Hashem would just create me, right, and I would exist, and then he would give me good, so it's very clear that that good is something that is separate and distinct from the I, from the me, right? There's me and I exist, and then he's going to give me good. So Hashem wanted it to be that it wouldn't be that way. It wouldn't be that the good was something external to us, something extraneous to us. It would be just like Hashem is going to explain to us right now, just like Hashem's goodness is something that is part of him and not something added on or separate. Hashem wanted it to be that the good that we're going to get at the end is a part of us, and the only way to make something a part of us is to earn it. He's going to explain this right now. Okay, by earning the good, so that makes the good that we're getting a little bit closer, a little bit more similar to the good of Hashem himself. Right? We learned this before. Hashem is be'etzem. His essence is perfection and goodness. It's not something that is like an add-on or separate from him. It's a part of the etzem of who Hashem is. Right, right. That's what he's about. But that can't be with any other thing, right? Only Hashem, like we said last time, is this only entity that has these qualities of that, perfection and complete independence, etc. So that's something that can't be. So it can't be that there's another entity or another being that is exactly like Hashem in that way, meaning that they are inherently good and inherently perfect. That can't be, because we know there's only one. However, in order to let us to, again, like everything, to the degree that we're able to connect to Hashem, to be like Hashem in this way, to make the good a part of us, and at the very least, we have to earn it. We have to make it be a part of us. We have to, it can't just be given to us. That would be totally different than Hashem's goodness, totally different than Hashem's shleimus, which is completely inherent. So while we can't be inherent the way Hashem is, we can't be shalom and good and perfect the way Hashem is. However, to the extent that we can try to make ourselves like Hashem and have the goodness be like Hashem's goodness, by earning it, that makes it more inherent to us. That makes it that it's a part of us, as opposed to something that is, plopped on the outside. So therefore, Hashem, in order, again, this is all in order to make it this, this dynamic, for this structure to play out, Hashem, to allow me to make the shleimus be mine, so I had to start without shleimus, right? I had to start with something that was not perfect, which we're going to call chisaron, and that's a major theme that's going to go on now for a while. There's the shleimus and chisaron, and in order to create a world that's going to allow the nivra, allow the creation to complete themselves, so Hashem had to create something called chisaron. He had to create something called a lack, because without a lack we would have nothing to fill. So this is like sort of the point in which, in Hashem's, again, like the words we're going to use in Hashem's thought process, so to speak, this is the point at which nisyonos and troubles and anything negative comes into the picture, right? Until now, we had no need for chisaron at all, right? Through every step that we went through. Hashem, is the ultimate good. He wants to share that good. So there has to be another being. That being, needs to be the one who is going to get the good, which is connection to Hashem, which is the best it could possibly be. But when he introduced this new step over here in Sif Beis, this step about owning the goodness, about making that goodness something that's inherent to us and a part of us, now is when chisaron enters into the picture. Right now is when chisaron, the concept of the idea of chisaron, has to play out, because in order for us to create shleimus, there has to be something that was not shalom to begin with. So now Hashem created this whole ma'arechet, this whole system of shleimus and chisaron. there's going to be a creation that is able to go in either direction. And this creation is going to be put into a place where it has the opportunity for shalem and chisaron. It's going to be given the tools, it's going to be given what it needs to do in order to achieve shleimus and push away chisaron. And then when that person becomes shalem, that shleimus is now more similar, to the extent that it's possible, it's more similar to Hashem's shleimus. And the person will therefore be, fitting to bask in Hashem's goodness and to be a part of Hashem. Okay, so this is, like I said, we could give a whole class just on this one piece to clarify all the aspects of it. But we're understanding again the structure of why and what Hashem did, so to speak, when He set up the world, and we're at the point that He introduced the whole concept of chisaron, the whole concept of the fact that the world is not going to be a perfect place, that there's going to have to be something for us to do. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I have to pause for a second, okay? I'm just going to pause. I have to run out of the room for a second, and then I'm going to come right back. So don't go anywhere. David is putting on tefillin today, believe it or not. Hard to believe. My son, David Mishram, is putting on tefillin, and there's only the only minyan that I can go to is an outdoor Vasikin minyan. I have to just quickly wake him up, and then I'm coming right back, okay? So don't go anywhere. I'm coming right back, okay? Somebody say something on the parsha in the meantime. Who do I see here? Esti Levy, got something on the parsha? Esti Levy, I'm giving you the floor.
Oh, wow, thank you. I don't know.
Okay, sorry about that. We're okay? Fine. Okay, sorry. Fine. I forgot about this. Fine. Okay, so I didn't want to cancel this week, even though it's a fast, and even though I knew that I had to do this tefillin, but if the second week, you got to keep it going. So, okay, we have to try to keep this fall a little bit. It's okay. Okay, so 1 second. So, Gimel. V'amnam. Milvad hayos habriya hazos shekanza hashlemus ru'uya lidavik bebora yisparach mitzad his damos lo. Hina al yedei kanos hashlemus lo nimtes mistabekes v'holechas bo. Now he's explaining this idea that also in the Das Tvunos he says this, but a similar concept, but that the shleimus is the schus and the schar, right? It's all the same thing, because when a person achieves that shleimus, so they're going to be in a state of perfection, and that's going to be a state of similarity to Hashem, of his damos laboro, a state of being one with Hashem, and that is also what they earned, right? That's also what they did. That's what they created this shleimus. So the dveikus and the reward and the shleimus is all one. It all becomes part of the same thing. Right? Because Hashem's shleimus is the only true shleimus. Hine kol mashu hu shleimus enu misyaches elelo ka'anaf elashoresh ki af al pi she'enu magia la shleimus hashrashi hine hemshech v'solda mimenu hu. In a nutshell, he's saying because we can't be an actual shalem like Hashem, but we view Hashem as like the shoresh of shleimus, like the root of shleimus, and we can achieve to be sort of branches of that shleimus. Okay, now he's explaining to us that the concept of shleimus, is Hashem. Hashem is shleimus, and therefore anything that is a lack of shleimus, kol chisaron, eno ela helem tuvo yisbarach v'hester panav. Anything that is this chisaron that Hashem created in the world, what is chisaron? It's not a thing, it's a lack of ha'aras panim from Hashem. And this is again another theme that he's going to go through, extensively in the Sefer. So now, again, he introduced this idea that Hashem had to create this dynamic of shleimus and chisaron in order to give us the work to do, and now he's explaining where does that shleimus and chisaron come from. It's all from Hashem. The ha'aras panim of Hashem, when Hashem is shining, so to speak, in a full light, so then that's shleimus. That's something that's perfection. The hester panav hashoresh v'asibah l'chol chisaron. And when Hashem hides himself or hides any small part of himself, that is the root for all chisaron, for all lack that's going to follow. Asher kashira hester kach yashira chisaron nimshach mimenu. Right, and to the extent that Hashem hides himself, that to that extent is how much lack is going to be over here in the world. Okay. Va'al kain hanivra hazeh ha'omid b'shikul bin hashleimius v'chesronos sheim todos ha'era v'hester v'yischazko b'shleimus ha'knosam osam ba'atzmo hine hu oches bo yisbarach shu ha'shorish v'hamokor lahem. So now he says, now we understand how it is that a person can acquire shleimus. What does that mean? We are the ones who are placed into this balance. We're placed in a place where there's both shleimus and chisaron. And we were the ones, he explained earlier, who were given the tools, the ability to get rid of that lack and fill it in and create that shleimus. So when we're creating that shleimus, we are automatically attaching ourselves to Hashem, right? Since Hashem is the one who is the Shalem, Hashem is the source of all shleimus. So by our creating more shleimus, right, who oches bo yisbarach, where that's the only way that we can attach ourselves to Hashem, by taking part in the perfection of the universe. And how do we do that? So we do that with all the means, however more that I can add to the shleimus, that's how much more I am clinging to Hashem. Until a person achieves that final level, that highest level of shleimus, a person will achieve the highest possible level of clinging to Hashem, the highest level of oneness with Hashem. Because again, Hashem is perfection, and if a person achieves the level of perfection that a person is able to reach, so then they are connected to Hashem to the highest possible level. So of course, this is only going to happen not in the physical world. The actual shleimus, the actual experience of the shleimus, and the actual experience of the dveikus to Hashem. So that's not something that we're going to experience over here in the physical world, right? But that's the process is what we're doing every single day. Every mitzvah that we do that creates more shleimus is making me more like Hashem, making the world more like Hashem. And every avera that I stay away from is pushing away that chisaron and being mashlim myself, and again making myself more like Hashem until a point when a person will reach the shleimus that they can reach, and they are as much like Hashem as they can possibly be. Okay, Dalit. Good, so far so good. V'hine, l'sheyiyu b'metzius ha'inyanim ha'shonim ha'ela shel shleimus v'chisaron shezacharnu v'timatzik ba'abriya shezacharnu b'tchuna shehi tzricha lios, right? In order for all of this to work, right? In order for all this to be, meaning that there is a playing field set up with the potential for chisaron and shlemus, that there is a bria, a creation that is over there in the way that it needs to be. Perush. What does it mean the way it needs to be? Be'efsharus l'shnei anyanim uve'acholas alayim sheyikneh shlemus v'yadar min chisaronos. Right, and you have this creation that has the means by which it can create more shlemus and push away the chisaron, and that he has the means to do this. Perush liknozeh shlemus hinevad, and you have to, meaning what we're going to see is, doing the right thing. That's how we are kona shlemus. So now he's explaining, why is the world so big and complicated, right? Why is there just so much, right? Like, it could have made any sort of a competition or any sort of challenge. However, he's saying, since the idea is to create a perfection, there's going to be, many different facets that need to be perfected. So, and the relationship of a person to everything in the world, that's he's saying, there's pratim rabim v'shonim. There's all sorts of different aspects and details and facets of the world. V'yachasim rabim bein pratim ha'eleh, and there's all sorts of relationships between the people and these things, and between the things and each other. Ad sheyatzliach hatachlis mechuvan ba, and they're all necessary. All of these parts, all of these details are all come together in order to create the one system of shleimus that is going to be all of us together. So, what is the creation that was set up for this incredible inyan? To cling to Hashem. What's going to be the creation that has this ability? Whatever creation that is, and then obviously that's going to be the ikr in the whole bria. That this creation, whatever creation it is, that's the one that hangs in this balance. And so this is the creation that Hashem made the world for, right? In order to create that shleimus or not. And then anything else that you see in the world, since again the whole point of everything is not, there's not multiple ideas here. There's just one, and that one idea, think about it just in your head, is for Hashem to give you schar, for you to earn what you need to do, every day, for Hashem to give you schar. And then, so if it's all about you, so then what is everything else doing here? Everything else that you encounter in your life, you are the ikr. You are the reason that you are here. Right? Everybody has to say, right? Hashem put you here to go through your life with your challenges and your struggles. You are the ikr of the bria, right? Like, the fact that I happen to be here also, and that the other people on the Zoom call, also exist. So that's just an amazing thing that Hashem can do this for more than one person at the same time, right? But you are here in order for Hashem gave you the opportunity to acquire shleimus, and to push away chisaron, and to be like him. And then everything else that you see, including me, including everything that you've encountered, right? What is it all there for? It's all here just to help in some way, in some form or another, for the mechuvin to happen. Can they see? You can see you. This is going to come to Shachris this morning when David puts on tefillin. Maybe. You're up very early though. Right. Okay. I'm going to continue now. Okay. Is David getting up? I'll get him up. Go get him up. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Right? Everything else that you see and encounter, and everything else in the world is all there in order to be a part of you acquiring your shleimus. And therefore everything else is tafel to the main creation. So again, he's going to talk about this. Let's continue. Let's sum this up together. So who is this? What is this? Creation. Obviously, it is mankind. And everything else that we have in the world, even the angels and the upper worlds and all of those things, and all the lower worlds and the lower things, and lower creations. It's all for us. It's all for us to be here, right? Even the high spiritual worlds, angels and higher olamos, atzilus and bria, yetzira, these types of things. It's all like, these things that are, it's all for us. Hashem didn't create that to have some spiritual something or another, and then also us. All of that is only in existence because of us, and it's all a part of us and what we are doing here. There's no other point to anything in the universe except for us to be here to do what we need to do. Everything else is here to play a role, either to pose a challenge to us or to give us an opportunity to acquire shleimus. But it's all for us. It's all here just for us to do what we need to do. Right? Based on all the different aspects that exist that have to be, addressed. Like he's going to talk later, which we're going to skip to in a few weeks. But the Chelek Dalid is all about the mitzvos. It's all about the avoda. It's all about, once we understand the basis of what we're doing here over the next couple of chapters, then we're going to skip to Chelek Dalid, which is like explaining through the tefillos and explaining through the chagim and the mitzvos, like, how all of that has to do with all of this. We'll get there. Oh, okay. Now this is, we're going to finish with this now, but this is like a very, very big line, a very, very important line. And so let's just, again, we're talking now, he just introduced us to mankind. Man is the entity that's placed, in the balance, that has the opportunity to create shleimus and to push away chisaron. So now, how do you do that? How do you create shleimus and push away chisaron? So, in Mesilas Yesharim, he writes Torah and mitzvos, right? It says, Masha Runu Chazal, Chachmin Zerchon Bracha, that the way to do this is by doing the mitzvos and the Torah. So obviously, right, that's going to be the same thing he's going to say over here, but we're going to see he says it over here in a completely different way. V'hine, hahaskala v'chol hamidos hatovos heim inyane shleimus shenimtzu lihishtalim bam ha'adam. Fascinating. What is it that creates shleimus for a person? What is it that we are supposed to be striving towards in order to become that shalem entity, to be closer to Hashem and be similar to Hashem? Haskala. Haskala is, a very hard word to translate. It means, enlightened, or, the Haskalah, the movement called the Haskalah, right, was called, the Enlightenment. That was a very negative movement. That was, in Judaism, it was like watering down of Torah based on philosophy and science and things like that. But Haskalah really means, the Rambam, whenever the Rambam speaks about Hashem and knowing Hashem and he always talks about Haskalah. And that's why you have some people like rationalist type people, and they take Haskalah to mean, like rational thought, intellectual thought, as opposed to emotional thought. But that's not what the Rambam means, according to the Ramchal. Haskalah means elevating yourself, developing your literally enlightening, pulling light into yourself, elevating your seichel is Haskalah. It doesn't just mean intellectually; it means connecting to Hashem, elevating your mind to Hashem. So that's what he says over here. Hine Haskalah. So that's all the things that we do to elevate ourselves and connect to Hashem and be more spiritual. That's what Haskalah means. B'chol hamidos tovos. So that is, obvious, right? That's amazing what he's saying over here, right? Midos. It's mamish about midos that we're here. So of course, this is part of Torah and mitzvos, and of course, a person who keeps the Torah and mitzvos properly will also have Haskalah and midos. It's really two ways of saying the same thing. But over here, it's amazing and powerful how he says it. What we are here for is to develop ourselves, develop our enlighten ourselves, and work on our midos. Those are the tools. That's what was given to us in order to work to become shalem. And what is the negative? Chomer, physicality. You see clearly, he's using haskala, and chomer is spirituality and physicality. It doesn't mean intellect versus physical. That does, that's not. Those are not two sides of a coin. It's spiritual and physical are the two sides. And yonei hachomer, the physical world, umidos haraos. And our bad midos, that's all the aspects of negativity. That a person is placed in the balance and given the opportunity to achieve shleimus. So to sum up, he's telling us, right, the first chapter he explained who Hashem was. In this chapter, he's telling us what's the world here for, and he's telling the world is here for us in order to give us an opportunity to earn and be mishtalim ourselves and be like Hashem in our shleimus. In order for that to be, there has to be this whole ma'arechet, this whole system of shleimus and chisaron, and we, the mankind, who is the pinnacle of creation, and everything above man and everything below man is all just here in order to serve a purpose for us to be able to do what we need to do. So man, as the pinnacle of creation, is given the means by which to achieve shlemos and to push away chisaron. And what is that? It's the struggle between spiritual versus physical, and the struggle between good mitos, good character traits, and bad character traits. That's it. That's where we are. To attach ourselves to spirituality, to develop our mitos and become better people. That's how we become shalem and connect ourselves to Hashem. Okay, kol hakavod everybody for coming, even though you just finished fasting. And Bezrat Hashem will continue next week. Okay, have a great Shabbos, everybody.
You.
Thank you,
Rabbi.
Mazel
Good night,
tov.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Mazel
Mazel.
Yeah.
You could text a question. I have to go to a shul, so you can
Okay,
text me and
sure.
I'll thank you.